sit here nice and warm. We'll sit here by the fireside here, watch the steel-bellied miners go 400 yards down. And really that is just the start. There's still another mile to go. And there works the idiot child. Thatcher will never know. It's 400 yards down. It's 400 yards down. It's 400 miles down. Boys follow dads down. They're heading down the nearest shaft. They won't get home till after dark, when they'll kick a ball about. They're hoping that there's just a chance they'll make it to St. James's Park. 400 yards down. The heat and noise and dirt and dust, it's something they can never trust. And try working just one day, mining the hardest vein. How could anybody ruin such people? How could anybody run down their lives? How could anyone destroy their communities? How could they tell such lies? It's 400 yards down. The shift lasts 7 hours or more, half naked in the dirt and soil. There's no time to sit and rest. 10 minutes perhaps for tea and scram by the feeble light of a Davy lamp. And 400 yards above, the rumours spreading thick and fast. The boys are trapped by a pithead blast. Press cameras snap their souls, eyes open but heads held low. How could anybody ruin such people? How could anybody run down their lives? How could anyone destroy their communities? How could they tell such lies? How could anybody ruin such people? How could anybody run down their lives? How could anyone destroy their communities? How could they tell such lies? Some things are not right. Some things are not right. Some things are not right.
Of all types of human being, only the artist takes it upon him to say that he cannot work. But it is quite true. There are times when one cannot work. Money again. Always money. Lack of money means discomfort, means squalid worries, means a shortage of tobacco, means an ever-present consciousness of failure. But, above all, it means loneliness. How can you be anything but lonely on a poxy £2 a week? And in loneliness, no decent book was ever written.
Gordon thought it all out in the native, selfish manner of a boy. There are 2 ways to live, he decided. You can be rich, or you can deliberately refuse to be rich. You can possess money, or you can despise money. The one fatal thing is to worship money and fail to get it. He took it for granted that he himself would never be able to make money. It hardly ever occurred to him that he might have the talents which could be turned into account. That was what his schoolmasters had done for him. They had rubbed it into him that he was a seditious little nuisance and not likely to succeed in life. He accepted this. Very well, then. He would refuse the whole business of succeeding. He would make it his special purpose not to succeed. Already, at the age of 16, he knew what side he was on. He was against the money god and all his swinish priesthood. He had declared war on money. But secretly, of course. Dusty bookshop, Orwell sets the scene. Gordon Comstock, adrift without a bean. Our copywriter thinks it's all beneath him, just a scheme. Take on serious money, count the cost. The money god v. our little boy lost. Gordon fought, but somehow knew they'd always take the lot. But the mundane life, it's not for Gordon. All the petty lies, the waste, the boredom. A life spent on nothing more than their precious aspidistras. Gordon found a way out of his pain. A lovely girl, Rosemary was her name. But Gordon made a mess of that, he didn't know when to wait. Mundane life, it's not for Gordon. All the petty lies, the waste, the boredom. A life spent on nothing more than their precious aspidistras. Come on, Gordon, move on, don't stop, there's no time to waste. And now the lovely Rosemary's waiting for her mate. Mundane life, it's not for Gordon. All the petty lies, the waste, the boredom. A life spent on nothing more than their precious aspidistras. Gordon finally got the things he needs. He married Rosemary on Albion Street. And soon they'll hear the lovely sound of tiny, tiny feet. Well done, Gordon, you moved on and didn't stop. There's no time to waste. And now the aspidistra's standing in its space, taking pride of place.
When I remember, oh, how vividly, his shabby uniform and fierce, pathetic, innocent face, the complex side issues of the war seem to fade away, and I see clearly that there was, at any rate, no doubt as to who was in the right. In spite of power politics and journalistic lying, the central issue of the Spanish Civil War was the attempt of people like this to win the decent life which they knew to be their birthright. It is difficult to think of this particular man's probable end without several kinds of bitterness. When one thinks of all the people who support or have supported fascism, one stands amazed at their diversity. What a crew! But the clue is really very simple. They are all people with something to lose, or people who long for a hierarchical society and dread the prospect of a world of free and equal human beings. All that the working man demands is what these others would consider the indispensable minimum, without which human life cannot be lived at all. Enough to eat, freedom from the haunting terror of unemployment, the knowledge that your children will get a fair chance, a bath once a day, clean linen reasonably often, a roof that doesn't leak, and short enough working hours to leave you with a little energy when the day is done. Not one of those who preach against materialism would consider life livable without these things. And how easily that minimum could be attained if we choose to set our minds to it for only 20 years. How right the working classes are in their materialism. I never saw that Italian militiaman again, nor did I ever learn his name. It can be taken as quite certain that he is dead. Nearly 2 years later, when the war was visibly lost, I wrote these verses in his memory.
The Italian soldier shook my hand beside the guardroom table. The strong hand and the subtle hand, whose palms are only able to meet within the sound of guns. But oh, what peace I knew then, in gazing on his battered face, purer than any woman's. For the fly-blown words that made me spew, still in his ears were holy, and he was born knowing what I had learned out of books and slowly. The treacherous guns had told their tale and we had both bought it, but my gold brick was made of gold. Oh, who would have ever thought it? Good luck go with you, Italian soldier. But luck is not for the brave. What would the world give back to you? Always less than you gave. Between the shadow and the ghost, between the white and the red, between the bullet and the lie, where would you hide your head? For where is Manuel Gonzalez? And where is Pedro Aguirre? And where is Ramon Felalosa? The earthworms know where they are. Your name and your deeds were forgotten before your bones were dry, and the lie that slew you is buried under a deeper lie. But the thing that I saw in your face, no power can disinherit. No bomb that ever burst shatters the crystal spirit.
Road sweeper! Road sweeper! Road sweeper! Oi, oi! Do you get what you are worth, road sweeper? For cleaning your piece of earth that I pay ya! Enough for your Sunday best to retrain ya! Give you a new name, new job, more roads and less wage. All night nurse.
All night.
All night nurse. All night nurse. Oi, oi, they call you angel, all night nurse. But they're looking for an angle to keep ya. Tending sick and lame for peanuts. So it ain't our fault, it's the market folks to blame. Oh, teacher.
Oh,
Oh,
teacher.
teacher.
Sit down, son. Sit down quiet.
Oh,
Sit down quiet.
teacher.
Sit down quiet.
Oi,
Hey.
do you get told the truth, oh, teacher? To take on the nation shift that they make ya. Toe the old Ofsted line and keep them down. Cause they're all slaving for a system run by fools. Oh, fireman. Oh, fireman.
Chase that taxi.
Oh, fireman.
He goes out.
Oi, can you keep up the fight, oh, fireman? Yeah, keeps you up at night, the lace tell ya.
Yeah.
The heroes of the flames, and they bag ya, saying it's a job that's worth more than the pay. Oh, miners.
Oh, miners.
Oh, miners. Oh, miners. Oi, where the hell have you gone, oh, miners? And what the fuck is going on? Did I see ya? As dignified and proud, or erase ya, but you're a stain upon their green and pleasant land.
Go on, my son.
Oh, bankers. Oh, bankers.
Bloody hell, mate.
Bangers!
Oh, bankers. Oi, don't you ever say old bankers. That you're the people's friends, cause we see ya. You're making all the gains, and we hate ya. Cause you're the lowest form of human being today. Road sweeper. Road sweeper. Road sweeper. Oi, oi!
When the Germans made their rapid advance through Belgium in the early summer of 1940, they captured, among other things, Mr. P.G. Woodhouse, who seems not to have realised until the last moment that he was in any danger.
I say, Jeeves. Jeeves! The old boy's gone and done it this time.
Indeed, sir.
Indeed's the word, Jeeves. Don't you read the papers?
I try not to, sir.
Well, let me enlighten you, old manservant. Heard of a blister called Hitler? Little fellow. Thinks he's Charlie Chaplin.
The character is familiar to me, sir. I understand he's gaining some notoriety for a somewhat aggressive nature.
Yeah, that's the blighter, Jeeves. Anyway, the old boy, PG, to you and me, was having a breather in Belgium. A place called Le Tourniquet or something, when this little Hitler wanders by and puts him under house arrest.
Very disquieting, sir.
Disquieting's the least of it, Jeeves. The next thing we know, one of Hitler's spin doctors, a crafty bean by the name of Goebbels, has the old boy on the wireless meandering on about pigs and roses and what have you.
Distracting entertainment, sir?
Not when there's a war on, Jeeves. Some demented scribbler in the Daily Mirror, calls himself Cassandra, is kicking up a hell of a stink. Wants the old boy hung up by his toenails.
Most disquieting, sir.
I do wish you'd come up with a word other than disquieting, Jeeves. Our very futures are at stake here. The old boy is the lifeline to our